Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Bridget Morris, and I talk about things that are specific carbohydrate diet friendly, and I touch on keto and gluten-free. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. Please consider subscribing, hit the red button. And something else I'm supposed to say is please hit the notification bell. That way you're in the know of when I post my new videos. So in today's video, I will be talking about yogurt, homemade yogurt, bacteria, and the benefits of eating your homemade yogurt. Now, when I had intended this video to be a one video, but when I started doing the editing, I realized that there was a lot of important information that I wanted to keep, but it just kept getting longer and longer. And so I decided to make this as a two-part video. So the first part, I'm going to be doing the talking, and then in the second part, I'm going to be showing you how to make homemade yogurt. Now, if you've seen my first video of why I'm starting a YouTube channel, I do talk about I have Crohn's disease and I was diagnosed about 16 years ago. So if you want to go and check that out, I will link it in the description box below. But one of the main reasons that I want to do this video is because I found that eating homemade yogurt was one of the big things that helped me regulate my symptoms of Crohn's disease. There are so many benefits of eating homemade yogurt, and I will be discussing this in my video today. So you're gonna notice that once I start doing the video, I'm gonna be wearing something different and part of my hair is different. So it's just because this intro was done after I started doing all the editing. So please stay tuned for part 2, where I'm gonna be showing you how to do the actual yogurt. So without rambling on too much, I'm going to get right to it. So if you want to learn about bacteria, the benefits of eating homemade yogurt, and really the benefits on IBD and IBS patients, please keep watching. So in today's video, I'm going to be discussing bacteria and why it's essential in our diet to have homemade yogurt as opposed to maybe store-bought. So I know that bacteria is kind of like in everybody's mind that it's something very negative. So, you want to kill the bacteria, you want to, no infections or anything like that. Where I think the most important thing to understand is the difference between good bacteria and bad bacteria, because there is a difference. So there is bad bacteria in the sense that, yes, wash your hands. It's very important. If you're dealing with raw meat, wash the surfaces after you're done. You don't want to have bad bacteria growing, because that's how you're going to get sick. However, the human body on the inside, we have a combination of good bacteria and bad bacteria, but they're in balance. And that because of that balance, we feel okay, we feel normal. That's how the body digests food. It's actually essential. When we have an imbalance of an overgrowth of bad bacteria versus the good bacteria, that's when we have issues with people with IBD or IBS. It creates inflammation in the intestine, and basically the inflammation is what is prohibiting us from absorbing the essential nutrients in order to feed the body. And so because we can't absorb it, it stays in the tract, and it stays as food, like a buffet for the bad bacteria to eat and breed, and then it just gets bigger and bigger, and then more inflammation, and then you just get sicker and sicker. Now, on the topic of yogurt. Yogurt in itself is something that has been done for years and years and years and years. The process in making yogurt is actually quite simple in itself as well, and I think that over the years we've evolved in creating certain things to make the process even easier or even just time efficient. The reason why yogurt is so good for you is because it's rich in vitamins. So rich in vitamin B, specifically B12, and is high in calcium. So that's really good for your bones and your teeth. It's also high in protein, which means it helps to regulate your metabolism and also regulates your appetite. So because you're consuming protein, you feel full longer. But the main reason why yogurt is really good is because it has the presence of probiotics, so bacteria. And those bacteria are what is essential for us in order to grow the good bacteria, the internal flora, into our system. So when you go to the store, you have to be very careful in what kind of yogurt that you want to consume. I don't know if ever you've looked at the ingredients, but if you find any yogurts that have a flavor, so strawberry flavored, vanilla flavored, blueberry, whatever it is, the majority of it is actually sugar. And in some cases, there isn't even any milk product in it. It's more of like a gelatin based. So bacteria is really good for you because it helps with your digestive system. In some cases, or in some studies, it showed that it strengthens your immune system, but it also reduces your inflammation, which is definitely one of the key things as an IBD or an IBS patient you want to do. One of the advantages of having homemade yogurt is the bacteria is going to be so potent. Homemade yogurt has a very tangy taste to it because it's technically plain yogurt. So if you're used to eating flavored yogurts, you're going to see a really big difference, mainly because the store-bought yogurts that are not plain, because you can buy plain yogurt, like plain Greek yogurt example, that has more of a sweetness to it and it takes away the tanginess. So when you're going to be tasting your homemade yogurt for the first time, you're going to probably be a little surprised. I mean, I was, and I didn't particularly like it at first, so I'm going to be completely honest. And also another thing was the texture. So I find that store-bought yogurt was much more like a hard consistency, whereas when you do your own, it kind of has it's a little bit more liquidy, but you're going to get used to it, and there are also ways to get past the taste of it. So I end up adding honey to my yogurt because it sweetens it out, and I add also fresh cut fruit. And to be completely honest, at this point, I'm completely obsessed with the taste of the yogurt combination with the honey and the fruit. It's just really, really good. You can also use yogurt as a base for cooking. Maybe you can make some sauces with it, or even in your baking. So it's really good to have on hand just in case you want to just a quick meal or you want to just add to your cooking. So to start your own yogurt, you're going to need technically 2 items. The first one is you're going to need milk, and you're also going to need a yogurt starter. So the milk part of it, you can use whole milk, 2%, 1%. You could use skim as well. I wouldn't recommend it. And I particularly like to use whole milk, which has the most fat in it, just because it has so much more flavor to it. But you can use definitely like 2% or even 1% if you want. The general milk that people use tends to be cow milk. But if you don't want to consume cow milk, you can always use goat's milk or even sheep milk. Now, another question that people ask is what kind of milk? So, do I get organic, or, do I get just the regular cheap brand? So that's going to be really up to you, and that's going to be your own preference. I personally like to use organic and grass-fed. And the reason being is because I want to make sure that everything that I consume has the maximum potential of giving my body the nutrients and the vitamins that I need. So in purchasing higher quality products, you're going to have a better chance of achieving those goals. But by all means, this yogurt making is going to work just as well on like store brand milk, or all the way up to, like super fancy milk. Now, when you're going to be looking at videos or talking to people on how they make their own yogurt, they're generally going to say, you want to leave it on a warm surface for 12 hours. Now, with the specific carbohydrate diet, we want to make sure that the bacteria eats all of the sugar up, the lactose. So we want to put it all the way up to 24 hours minimum. You could do it all the way up to 30 hours if you want, just to like really make sure. But yes, make sure that you do it at least for 24 hours. So in my video, I'm using individual portion cups to make my yogurt. And personally, I've come to realize that that is best for me, just because it's easier to store in the fridge, and it's just so quick. it's almost like buying those individual cups at the store. So you just take it out of the fridge, I just open it, and then I can just like eat it right away. But when I was younger and I used to do it and I didn't have a yogurt maker, my mom and we tried it in like, it was like a big bowl like this, and my grandmother used to make a lot of dinner parties and she had these plate heaters. So we basically use that, keep the milk at a certain temperature for the 24 hours, and it worked just as well. There are ways that you could do it like super cheaply. I've seen some people make it in an Instapot. I've seen people making them in the oven. But for my personal lifestyle, I find that this works so much better for me. So you're gonna have to like maybe look into it, do some research, or even test it out and see what works best for you. Now, the second item that you're gonna need is a yogurt starter. And you have technically two options. One of them is you can purchase an actual yogurt starter that you're gonna put in, or you can just purchase a yogurt that you go at the store, and you wanna make sure that it's completely plain and that it has at least 4 types of bacteria in it. You can go up to 6. I've had difficulty finding that, but I use Chobani because I know that it has the 4 bacteria in it, and I'm going to write that on the screen somewhere and save you the embarrassment of actually trying to pronounce them. And so basically what you're doing is you want to reintroduce in the milk, which you've brought to almost a boil, so you've killed everything, all the bacteria in it. You're wanting to reintroduce the good bacteria that the body actually needs in order to reduce the inflammation. And you're going to be basically cultivating it into your milk. Now, when you're ready to make your second batch, for your yogurt starter, you kind of have a couple of options. One, you can use the, again, 3 options. You have your yogurt starter that you can, that you've purchased. You have either your yogurt that you just purchased, or you can keep a little bit of your yogurt that you've already made and use that as a starter. And so you just pour it back in, and then you're just basically keeping the bacteria cloning itself. Thank you guys for staying through the entire video. I really appreciate it. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. I will be bringing you more information and more videos on specific carbohydrate diet friendly items, or just items about Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, or even celiac. If there's anything that you want me to cover or do in my next few videos, please leave it in the comments below. Or if you want to add on to the discussion, go ahead, talk to me, tell me something. So like I said, this video is part 1. There's going to be a part 2. And so if you do like this video, please go ahead and stay tuned and watch part 2, which is going to be how to make the actual yogurt. So thank you so much again, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.